Hello, welcome to MindSpark's grant webinar. Today we are going to be talking about unlocking state education grants for computer science, STEM, and career-connected learning. We are going to focus on practical tips to support your school and learning goals. I wanted to take a minute to introduce myself. My name is Jacki Reid. I'm the Vice President of Computer Science Education at MindSpark. I have been with MindSpark for several years, helping schools and districts across the United States figure out how to increase access and opportunities to pillars in our society, which are computer science, STEM, and career-connected learning. My email is Jacki, Jacki, at mindspark.org. Feel free to reach out to me as a thought partner for collaboration or any questions. I would love to connect and help you in your future initiatives regarding computer science, STEM, and career-connected learning. I'll show my email again at the end of the webinar, so you guys can write it down there again if you don't have a chance to write it down quickly now. A quick background about MindSpark Learning in case we are new to you. MindSpark is a national nonprofit. We believe that extraordinary professional experiences begin with extraordinary purposes and sustainability. Relationships at MindSpark are the core of our business. So we always start with a needs assessment. We really want to get to know what you need, what your skills are, what gaps exist, what your desired goals and dreams are, and we want to help create a plan to get your school district to those desired goals. Why are state education grants a game changer? And believe me, they are. There are millions of dollars to support STEM, computer science, and career connected learning. Millions of dollars available each year. These grants allow you to increase access and opportunities to computer science, STEM, and career connected learning for your students, giving them more direction so they know where they want to go, where they want to contribute in the world post that K-12 education system. We see so many young adults entering college that do not have concrete ideas of where they want to contribute, of what their interests are, where their passions lie, and align with their skill set. So when you are able to increase career connected learning, STEM, and computer science into that K-12 journey, students are entering technical school and early college with more direction and more solid foundation. So allowing students to have these experiences is another game changer in these state education grants. One of the biggest opportunities for utilizing state education grants is to think about the impact on the community and the partnerships you can make with the community. What we like to do at MindSpark is we like to look at the local community and say, in what ways can the school and the district lean in to their community, to the industries in the community, to the needs of their community to make sure students are getting prepared with the right knowledge and skills to go out and contribute directly to that community and improve it in some way and solve problems in some way. These grants allow you to make partnerships with vital industries and even nonprofits to help bring in that community school relationship, which is a huge game changer for these state education grants. So, what can these grants fund in your schools and your districts? Most of these grants can fund teacher and educator professional learning. They sometimes can fund tools, materials, resources. Strategic development is another huge area that these grants can fund. Really, that strategic development is just as important as teacher professional learning and the tools. You want to make sure that your school and your district are on the right path to getting to your dream and your goals of how you want to equip students to enter the world, which these grants fund that development and that planning. You might want to integrate computer science and STEM across disciplines in traditional subject areas like math, science, English language arts. So, what does that look like? Use these grants to take advantage of that opportunity to investigate what that looks like for your school system and then make that dream become a reality. You might look at these grants to increase access and opportunities to STEM, computer science, and career learning. And you don't really know how you want to do that yet. You just know you want to increase access for students and for educators. Well, use these grants to get a cohort of educators and leadership together to start planning that strategy. What does that look like? Where are we now and where do we want to go? And then you can start identifying the steps to get there. These grants are great for hands-on learning experiences, thinking about what types of hands-on learning can we bring to students in the classroom and writing a grant to support that. These grants are also a great opportunity to look at that K-12 pathway, the talent pipeline, all the way from the youngest kids to the oldest kids about to enter the workforce and enter society after their educational academic careers. And think about, what are we setting students up for success in that K-12 pipeline? How are we building on talent K-12 towards technology, towards computer science, towards STEM, towards career connected learning? How are we building each step of the way from kindergarten to 12th grade to help prepare our students to enter this vastly diverse world we live in? In the past, these state education grants focused on computer science, STEM, and career connected learning have helped schools and districts build awareness in their community for internal and external stakeholders. So, what that might look like is utilizing this grant to help support Hour of Code initiatives, to help support Day of Code, Computer Science Conference, or CS Con, as some districts like to call it, STEM festivals, and career days. We've seen schools and districts do all of these things with these grants, with these STEM, computer science, and career connected grants. We've seen schools build out Hour of Code festivals and community engagements after school. We've seen local businesses and communities come to these types of events where they are running activities and sessions for students to experience or answering questions for parents, putting on some type of quick presentation for parents and students. We worked with a district that started having career days for middle school and for elementary school students, where they were incorporating all the different types of careers that were aligned with the high school pathways available for those careers, exposing students to what they have to look forward to later on in their academic career in secondary education. These grants can also help schools and districts integrate STEM and computer science in traditional subject areas. So we worked with many schools and districts that have integrated computer science or STEM specifically in math. We've also worked with some schools and districts that have integrated STEM and computer science in science. This way, it guarantees that all of those K-5 students or K-8 students have exposure to computer science and STEM without having to take an extra elective. We know that most of the time, computer science and STEM is in secondary education. So many schools and districts like to tackle that elementary school age. How can we make sure we're building those stepping stones for our elementary students to have skills and knowledge they need to take these courses and elect to take these courses and be successful in them in their secondary academic career? You can also build a K-12 scope and sequence for computer science or STEM. Again, it's really about doing strategic development, analyzing what do we have going on where, and how can we make sure we are creating building blocks at each grade level so students are learning more about STEM, computer science, or career connected learning in that K-12 journey. Similarly to the K-12 scope and sequence, we've also worked with districts to actually build that K-12 curriculum. So once we outline what do those stepping stones look like, we can then identify and plug in what curriculum we want to use and where, what activities we want to use and where, to ensure students are getting all the knowledge and skills they need at each one of those steps. These grants can also fund vision and mission development. So if you are at the beginning stages or need to revisit, what is your school or district's mission and vision around computer science, STEM, or career connected learning? These grants are a great opportunity to get everybody on the same page and have everybody develop a unified vision and mission towards computer science, STEM, and career connected learning. We have also helped schools and districts with course design. So whether that's building and adding new high school courses or adding new courses to elementary school and refining courses that already exist, These grant opportunities in computer science, STEM, and career connected learning are great opportunities to help refine what is already going on and take things to the next level. How do you align grant opportunities with your school and your district goals? First, you identify the needs. So, what are the needs in STEM, computer science, or career connected learning? You need to identify what is going on right now at this moment. What's going on at high school, middle school, and or elementary school? What is going on in relation to computer science, STEM, and career connected learning? So, you need to identify those needs. And then you need to identify the goals. Well, if this is where we are at, then this is what is needed. Here are the goals that we can now identify based on the gaps we see or based on the needs we see. Thirdly, identifying the current initiatives in your school or district help align with a way that's going to implement computer science, STEM, and career connected learning in a more sustainable way. So if your district is moving towards a math initiative. And math has always been a concrete goal that your district is looking to gain proficiency in and meet beyond expectations. Then you can tie in computer science to math. You could tie in STEM and math. You can tie in career connected learning and math. So, really helping bolster those current initiatives in your district with computer science, STEM, and career connected learning. This really also helps create buy in from other educators in the district that might want to partake in professional learning. And it will also create more comprehensive learning outcomes for students. Who has funding for computer science, STEM, and career connected learning? A whopping 33 out of 50 states have declared funding for 2024 and beyond. Alabama, Arkansas, California, Colorado, Florida, Georgia, Idaho, Illinois, Indiana, Iowa, Kentucky, Louisiana, Maine, Maryland, Massachusetts, Michigan, Minnesota, Mississippi, Missouri, Nevada, New Jersey, New York, North Carolina, Ohio, Rhode Island, South Carolina, Tennessee, Utah, Virginia, Washington, West Virginia, Pennsylvania, and Kansas have all declared that they are supporting computer science, STEM, and or career connected learning. So these states at a state level, at the Department or Board of Education, have declared that they will have funding for computer science, STEM, and career connected learning. So be sure you are keeping an eye out for your state and what opportunities lie ahead coming in 2025. What makes a good grant? Let's talk about some tips for a strong application. Having clear goals, so that really goes back to identifying the needs, identifying the gaps, and clearly stating those goals. So, having clear goals is important when you're doing a grant application. Making sure that you have pillars and markers where you're going to measure and assess learning are very important. Community impact. When you are filling out these grants, states love to see schools work and partner with other businesses and other learning institutions in the community. So thinking about how can you increase partnerships, how can you connect to the community? That's a huge strong win when you're doing one of these applications. Along the same lines, when you are connecting with your community, you are creating a more sustainable grant and a more sustainable education environment. So when you're thinking about applying for these grants, thinking about those communities and those partnerships that you can leverage or uncover, maybe you want to start looking at community partnerships and you want to use the grant to do that, to build more community partnerships. Thinking about sustainability is important. So if you want to use this grant to hire a new teacher or a new paraprofessional, over time, how would you then source funding if this grant opportunity were to dissipate? So thinking about the sustainability, if you want to use a computer science, STEM, and career connected learning grant to fund buying a curriculum, but let's say that curriculum is a subscription year after year. Over time, how would you be sure that you could offer the same level of quality education and learning without that curriculum if that grant dissipates? So thinking about sustainability is a huge key to grant success. You want to be sure you include data. So supporting with data, that's another tip for a strong grant. Support with data about where you are at, what needs you have, what gaps exist, and then supporting data with those goals. Why do you want to reach these goals? What data supports you in reaching those goals? Using clear language is important. So, using clear language, good grammar, all of that's always important when we're writing these official grants. Answer and align to outcomes and align to the evaluation. These go hand in hand. So when you're writing a grant, be sure you have those outcomes and those bullets right next to you on a post-it, highlighted somewhere, and also the evaluation measurements. Be sure that you are including and aligning how your goals in your grant meet both the evaluation and the perceived outcomes of the grant. That way, your grant has a strong application, and also the grant reviewers can clearly see how your grant is meeting the goals and also will meet those evaluation criteria. One thing that sometimes we see missed is explaining the budget. So do not go lightly over your budget and just plug in numbers, line items. Be sure you're including descriptions about why you need that money for that particular line item or what the purpose beyond this year that line item is going to serve. We talked about community impact, partnerships, and sustainability. However, leveraging current partnerships is also a great idea for a strong grant, thinking about what other schools you can learn from, what other education institutions, colleges, universities, any other type of education organization you can partner with that has experience in doing what you're looking for or has additional resources that you could learn from or your educators or students might learn from. Leveraging partnerships is a strong marker for grant success. So, what are your next steps to make sure you get one of these grants upcoming in 2025? Check your state education website. Remember, there are 33 out of 50 states that are going to have funding for computer science, STEM, and career connected learning. So, you would search for computer science, STEM, and career connected learning on your state education website search engine. Make sure you mark your calendar for any upcoming webinars for the grants you're interested in. Be sure you look to see if there's an intent to apply deadline or that might be optional. A lot of times it's optional. And then be sure you have the application deadline in hand. A lot of these grants start opening in January, February, March, April, May, June, and even into the fall. You can also check state STEM organizations. There are many states that have alliances and organizations focused on STEM that also give out rolling grants for STEM, computer science, or career connected learning. So you would search these websites similarly to how you would search the state education website. And then last thing you need to do, third, you need to identify the needs and the goals. Once you figure out what grants are available for you and when it is due, do you then need to identify the needs and the goals? So that's where you're going to really take a deep look into that data, figure out what's going on, where is it going on, where do you want to focus on addressing a gap or bridge a gap? You want to create a list of important people to talk to so you can get a good idea of what you want to apply for and what this looks like. How can it impact the students and teachers in your education system? And write down any questions, data, or important information you're going to need to talk to these important people or to investigate further to get a solid application going. Thank you for watching our grant webinar to take advantage of state computer science, STEM, and career connected learning opportunities. Do not let these funds slip by you. These are great opportunities to improve our education systems. Not only are these good opportunities to improve education systems, but it's great opportunities for students to be engaged in learning and provide them with real world skills and learning that are going to help them thrive in their future. My name is Jacki Reid. I thank you so much for your time. Write down my email, send me an email if you have any questions.